Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Hot Seat Automotive Podcast. Your buddy CJ here. This is the place where we talk about the real gearhead stuff, real car guy talk. This is the place. And I love you guys, and I'm glad you're all here. We got something to talk about today. Ladies and gentlemen, bow your heads. Let's show some respect. Gentlemen, ladies, let's shed our tears. Rest in peace. The Camaro is dead. They killed the Camaro. Camaro is done. 2024 model year. That's it. They're laying off employees in the Chevrolet plant. It's something like 360 employees they're laying off. Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. These poor people, they're losing their jobs, but it's really unfortunate. But let's check this out. Look at this beauty. The Camaro is dead. Goodbye to the Camaro. Can you believe it? This is the end of an era. This is the end of an era. You know, a big part of this hobby, if you've been in it for a number of decades or even a number of years, is the rivalries. And, the Camaro, an incredible sports performance car. Some might classify it as a muscle car. Some might call it a pony car. But see, if you do that, if you call the Camaro a pony car, you got to recognize its natural enemy, its natural rival in the wild. Who's king of the jungle? In this corner, we got the Camaro, we got the Mustang. Mustang came first. The Mustang came first. Are they first over the finish line always? That's debatable. But, what was it, 1964-ish, something like that? Ford came out with the Mustang, sold thousands, hundreds of thousands. Chevrolet, listen, business first. They wanted their piece of the action. They got it. They came out with the Camaro, I think in 67, and they got a significant market share. And listen, just what a beauty, right? What a beauty. Hard to argue, even for you Mustang guys, admit it. That is a good looking car. I know it's your sworn enemy. Bow tie boys versus oval boys. Come on, that's a good looking car. That is a good looking car. But listen, it truly is the end of an era. When I was growing up, let me tell you my story. I got a couple of interesting Camaro stories. I'm a Camaro guy in my heart. I grew up as a Camaro guy. I've owned a bunch of them. Okay, and those that know me know that's true. No, that's very true. But first of all, well, before we get into all that, look at this thing. Come on, look at this beast. Chevy Camaro ZL1 1LE. Thing's a monster. It's a monster on the track. Styling and just so aggressive. Looks like a great white shark. Coming for your soul. Coming for your soul. You don't want to see that on the track. You do not want to line up against that on the track. Thing's wild. Thing's wild. Having said that, it's gone. It's going away. This is it. This is it for the Camaro for now. Is that it? This is not the first time the Camaro has left us. This is not the first time the Camaro has left us. We're going to get into all that. But there's something else I want to show you guys. There's something else I want to show you guys. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. So now we're talking my era. Third gen Camaro. Come on, the IROC. What does IROC stand for? We won't get into that. Little humor there. Those that know. So much fun and hijinks coming out of the automotive hobby. But listen, look at this thing. This is the Camaro of my era. And, I wasn't into the IROC trim as much back in the day. It's grown on me. It's grown on me over the years and years and years. I was more of a Z28 guy. But just look at that thing. Looked like it just drove off a NASCAR track and into your driveway. Like it reeks and drips race car. It does. And of course, if we're talking about the Camaro, we got to talk about the natural enemy. We got to talk about this guy. We got to talk about this guy. There it is. See, if you grew up when I grew up, Fox body Mustang, And the Camaro, we didn't call it the Fox back in the day, by the way. We called it a Mustang GT. We called it a 5.0. When this guy came out, this against the Camaro, that's what we talked about. At the bus stop in the 80s, hanging around reading car magazines. We didn't have the internet. You were either, I can't overstate this enough. I can't pound my fist on the table enough. You were either a Mustang guy or a Camaro guy. You could not be both. Don't tell me you were both. Not possible. Now, for me back in the day, I was more of a Camaro guy. And look, in those that know. Those headlights that you see on that Fox body, that was a Ford thing. That was like signature, pervasive Ford branding. They put those lights on everything, from a Taurus wagon that the families were tooling around, going to Boy Scouts and ballet practice. It was also on your Mustang. You know, it was a design cue, and it was successful. I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying, you knew if you were cruising with your boys on a Friday night, or if you were lucky enough to have a girlfriend, if you were cruising on a Friday night and you saw those headlights, it was either a Mustang or a Taurus or something like that. The trucks had a similar style. It was just a Ford thing. This podcast is not about Fords, but it is about the rivalry to an extent, because you cannot talk about the Camaro without talking about the Mustang. And that's a big part of this hobby. It's fun. It's fun to do all that. It is fun to do all that. So I'm gonna show you guys something else here. So let's fast forward. And this to me is when things got weird. Okay, everybody can hate on me now. It's okay. I got big shoulders for that. But check it out. Hear me out. Latest generation Camaro and Mustang. Look at these two. Incredible performance. They're more similar than different. Pick your poison. They're both incredible cars. Time to get controversial. Let me just be real. More similar than different in appearance, too. Hard to distinguish them for a lot of people. Listen, if you're a hardcore Mustang guy or a hardcore Camaro person, of course you can tell them apart like that. No mistake. No mistake. But for your average person, if you took away the pony and the bow tie there up front and asked them to identify these cars, they'd say, I don't know, which is which. They look alike to me. Facts. Big facts. Big facts is that these styling cues are more similar than different. Sorry. Real talk. Now, having said that, you can say that about a lot of cars. Go to a Costco or Walmart parking lot and look at all the white SUVs. Take the badges off. I can't tell them apart. And I've been studying this hobby for 40 plus years. So again, for me, when I go back, think about what I just showed you with the Fox body Mustang and the third gen Camaro. Oh, there was no mistake. There was no mistake. You pull into the parking lot with your boys looking at cars on a Friday night. There's the Mustang, there's the Camaro, and there is no mistake. Now, you got to listen. You got to do a double take. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just telling you what I think. You know, share your comments. I'd love to see your comments, and I'll respond to the ones I can. But a couple things. I got to tell you guys a couple of my Camaro origin stories, because if you lived it, then you know. And I'm not kidding. Like back in the day, this was war. Not only was it Chevy versus Ford, but Camaro versus Mustang. Are you kidding me? It was generational. Your dad was cruising around in that first gen Mustang, and his arch rival, the nemesis trying to date your mama at the time, was the guy in the Camaro. Come on. This was civil war in the United States. But let me tell you something. 1993, your boy CJ going to college in Daytona Beach, Florida. My cousin Donna, rest in peace, Donna. My cousin Donna pulled up. I was at my aunt's house to see me. I was visiting my aunt for the weekend. And what did she pull up in? What did Donna show up in? I was not ready. I lost my natural mind. This car. Now, I don't know if this is a 93, but Camaro Z28 in the purple. That's a badass color. No, nobody else was making something like that. When the 93 Camaro came out, it looked different. It wasn't for everybody. What do they call it? The fish? The catfish? I don't know. Or is the fourth gen the catfish? Anyway, I'm still drinking my coffee. Don't break my chops. But here's my story about the 93. Donna pulled up in the 93. I lost my mind. Can you imagine? First of all, can you imagine a young CJ in 1993? Whole other topic. Whole other topic. Woo! I'll leave it at that. Donna walked in my aunt's house and I said, Donna, I love that car. Oh my God. You know what Donna did? God rest her soul. She reached into her purse, grabbed the keys, handed them to me and said, take it for a ride, CJ. Mind blown. Probably one of the highlights of my young life as a car guy was driving Donna's car. And I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't drift it around the corners. Hell, I didn't know what drifting was, and I still can't drift. Don't make fun of me, guys. Don't do it. But in all seriousness, I cruised in Donna's car, took it around the block, and wow, I had never driven a Camaro by 1993, but I was a Camaro guy, and what a thrill. What a thrill. And if you're a car guy or a car girl, you've got your origin story. I'd love to hear it. But I've got so many over the years and just so many memories, and not many of these survived. The 93 Z28 in purple, 93, 94, 95, all of them. It just, I couldn't give you the production numbers. This podcast isn't about numbers. I always say that boring. This podcast is about the hobby and the passion. If you ain't into the hobby and you ain't got the passion, this ain't the podcast for you. But going back in the day, that purple was an uncommon color, but it certainly left an impression on me. So why? Why are they killing the Camaro, guys? Is it because the Mustang won the race? Listen, a couple things you got to know. Camaro sales have fallen off a cliff. They've fallen off a cliff. Mustang's trending that way as well. EV. We can blame a lot of things. The EV trend, the EV expectation. You know, there's rumor and there's been innuendo from Chevy execs that the Camaro brand will come back. What do I think? You heard it here first. A couple things. Because, well, before I get into my prediction, you know that the Camaro has been the comeback kid before. The Camaro has been the comeback kid before. 2002, we said goodbye to the Camaro. Gone. Camaro was gone in 2002. Gone forever. Came back in 2010. Whole new platform. The Zeta platform. 5th gen. So it died with the 4th gen, came back as the 5th gen. Another story. I just got to tell you, I remember I went and test drove a 5th gen. I had younger kids at the time, and it just wasn't the right time to buy one for a lot of reasons. You know, priorities first, young men. Young men and young ladies out there, priorities first. You can love cars, but get your priorities straight. Get your priorities straight. Don't go out and go into Hawk to get that Hellcat or to get that Cayman or whatever. Don't do it. Get your priorities straight. There'll be plenty of time for fun later. Unless you're rich. If you're rich and you can burn money, just do whatever the hell you want. But let's get back to this. I went and test drove in Charlotte, North Carolina. City Chevrolet. Who knows it? Who knows Charlotte? You don't know Charlotte unless you know City Chevrolet. I went up there and test drove the 5th gen. 5th generation Camaro. My first impression, liked the styling. I liked everything about it. Except I felt like it was a weird feeling. Visibility was an issue sitting in that thing. I did not like visibility in the 5th gen Camaro. Immediate turnoff from me. I'm not hating on it. Hell, if I found the right one, I'd buy it today. Would. But visibility was not great for me. First reaction. Other than that, I thought it was real cool. I liked the gauge cluster. It was an option. I think it was the 2nd tier or 3rd tier option where you could get the gauge cluster down low in the center, just below the dashboard, kind of center console thing. I thought it was kind of cool. But anyway, don't forget, Camaro is the comeback kid. It's happened before. They killed the brand. Mustang been around forever. Mustang ain't never gone anywhere, and hopefully won't, probably won't. Camaro been killed off before and has come back and came back successful, but unfortunately, hey, I shouldn't say unfortunately, it is what it is. The market has spoken, the industry has spoken, and right now they're killing it. If they were printing money on it, if they were making money hand over fist, probably wouldn't be the case. Business would figure out a way to keep the Camaro fire-breathing V8 with us. But it's going away. A couple things. Here's my prediction. What do I think? Camaro's coming back. Camaro brand will come back. Number one, I do believe it will come back as an EV. Now, that's not necessarily a bold prediction because I think, as I said, I don't know that Chevy's gone full on confirming that, but they've alluded to it. And I think there's precedent for it. Look at the Mustang Mach-E. I do believe Chevy will do something similar with the Camaro. Bring back the nameplate for either a sporty sedan, sporty SUV, or who knows, maybe a sports performance car, EV. Hopefully they do a hybrid option. Here's my other prediction. Here's the bold one. Write it down. Hold me accountable. Hold me accountable, people. You hold me accountable. I ain't scared. Camaro V8 coming back. There's nothing like the comeback. There's a part two to the story. And don't we love it as Americans? Don't we love it as automotive enthusiasts? The return of the fire-breathing V8. I believe it's coming back. There's nothing new under the sun. There are cycles to this. There's a process to this. Just because speculation, government mandate may look a certain way right now, doesn't mean it can't be walked back. You think all of these, federal government, global governments, municipalities, industry, consultants got it right, have always had it right? No! Of course not. Of course not. I don't think the market is ready for EV takeover in the next 24 months. How the hell are they going to have electric cars in Manhattan? New York City, baby. You live in an apartment, you're on the 18th floor, you're on the 5th floor. You're lucky to find a parking space anywhere. What do you do, run extension cords from the 19th floor? Downtown Los Angeles, Chicago. Never mind the fact that the power grid probably can't handle it. I'm not hating on EV. I think the technology's cool. Why not? Let's pursue it as a potentially viable option. But this narrative, this mandate for all EV, not a fan. Not a fan. And the business guy in me, because I'm not just a car guy, I got some other lenses I can put on once in a while. No, but in all seriousness, I just don't see it happening. And guess what? And I'm talking to you too, Dodge. Oh God, they're doing away with the Hemi. The Hemi's dead. The Hemi died multiple times. Now listen, the Hemi was a comeback kid, wasn't it? Dodge muscle cars were a comeback kid. Okay? There will be a return. There'll be a part two to this. Get ready for part two. The return of the V8. The return of I don't know if it'll be a Hemi, but on the Dodge side, the return of the Hellcat. You disagree? Fine. There's my prediction, not yours. Leave me comments. Let's talk about it. I'd love to hear your opinion. V8's coming back. We're at least going to get twin turbo V6 coming back. Why? Because I think that all these federal mandates are unachievable, unattainable, and non-sustainable. You can't do it this fast, this way. You'll put car companies, you'll put the automotive industry out of business. Well, that's an exaggeration, CJ. Of course it is. That's what I'm here for. No, I'm kidding. The return of the Camaro. It's coming back. It's going to be an EV. Are we going to get a hybrid? Just wait till the V8 comes back, and it's coming back. I believe it. I believe it. Now, Chevy guys, I'm put you on notice. Stop complaining. Stop complaining, Chevy guys. Time to go up market. You got the Corvette, a viable platform, a new platform, newer. Chevrolet debuted the C8 mid-engine Corvette. 8th generation Corvette in 2020. We've got the first hybrid Corvette. They're at least, I don't know if they're shipping yet, the E-Ray. They're taking orders. I don't know if they've hit the streets yet. Z06s are out there. I've got a Stingray, a C8 Stingray. I've driven Z06s. Looking at an E-Ray. That's a cool car. Chevrolet guys, Camaro guys, go upscale, go up market. Oh, what do you mean the Camaro? What do you? Corvette's better than Camaro? It's an upmarket car. Facts. Look at the MSRPs. Okay, Camaro's got the back seat. Camaro's got its own unique vibe and thing going. But you've got, if you're a diehard bow tie person, you're a bow tie guy. Okay? Then there's the other guys, they'd rather push a Ford than drive a Chevy. You know, first on race day. But if you're a Chevrolet guy, go get you a Corvette. And the nice thing too is the pricing on the C8s right now have come way down. You know, so it's not like you don't have an option, Camaro guys. You're a diehard Chevrolet performance person. You got the Corvette brand, and be grateful that you do. Be grateful that you do, and buy it and support it. You don't have to convert to Mustang, not yet, unless you want to. Not a bad option. I've had both. Why not both? So a couple thoughts on that. You know, and why? I mean, one other point. Why did Camaro lose and Mustang won? You know, I think a part of that story, just my opinion, I don't have the metrics to back this up, but I watch and I've seen it and been a part of it as a consumer and an enthusiast. The return of the Dodge Challenger and Charger. You don't think that took a slice of the Mustang and Camaro market share? Of course it did. I think it hit Camaro harder. You know, there's a whole dynamic in the automotive hobby right now around the Hellcats and the SRTs, Challengers, Chargers. Mustang and Camaro took it on the chin. Well, what do you mean, CJ? They're still selling more of this and more of that, and the performance, I don't care about that. I'm talking about market share. You know, the slices of the pie got smaller when Dodge came back out with these performance monsters, these muscle cars, these performance cars, aggressive styling, the retro look. They got it right. And it hurt. It hurt Chevrolet. You know, so that was a factor as well. You know, and I think it's fascinating to have watched this and been a part of it. But guys, that's it for today's episode. Rest in peace, Camaro. We shed a tear for the Camaro, but it's coming back. And we got so much else to look forward to in this hobby, in all seriousness. Guys, I love you all. Thanks for joining. Like and subscribe. Leave your comments. I'll get to all the comments that I can. I'd love to hear from you. Be well and see you on the next one. Peace.